Shalom, back with part two. All right, never trust thy enemy. Now, originally, I was going to do a lesson as well as fear of the Lord. That's all right. I can do that anytime. You have to go in the spirit, people, and it's where the spirit takes you. Okay, and it comes and goes as the wind. All right. So, anyway, let's get back into this. So, I believe we left off here in Revelations 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. All right? So that's how he wants to show himself. But what? He spake as a dragon. He spoke as a dragon. You understand that? In other words, with authority. Okay? With evil, wickedness, with blasphemy. Okay? Which, again, is covered here in the same chapter about his blasphemy. All right? What does it say here? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy, see, against the Most High, to blaspheme his name, because his name is not Jehovah. It is not God. All right? His son's name is not Jesus. All right? And his tabernacle, right? The patriarchs, the Israelites, all right? He covereth the faces of the true judges, okay? And they're not Edomites, like that portrait, by Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo, the painting of the Sistine Chapel with a naked Adam, Edomite, and naked little angel Edomites, and you see an Edomite man with a beard and wearing like a bed sheet, that's all blasphemy, people. All right? Because the Lord doesn't look like that, because he's described in the scriptures as well as his son. And in this society, he would be deemed and demonized a Negro, a black man. Okay? Yeah, so you've all been had. Okay? So anyway, and you see what it continues to say here. All right? So it was given unto him to make war with the saints, with the Israelites, both northern and southern kingdom of you Negro Latinos and the Americans, and to overcome them. So do you understand? Prophecy, people? That's all he's doing, is fulfilling prophecy. That's what he's done. When Columbus came here in 1492, it was just fulfilling prophecy. Okay? Do you understand? In other words, yeah, we got the bad end of the stick, but we were the ones under the covenant that broke the law, statutes, and commandments. And guess what? Columbus knew when he came here who he was going to meet, because he came here with 5 Hebrew interpreters, okay? And Louis the Taurus was mostly used, all right? Again, people, that stuff is kept out of the text, but regardless, those are the facts. That is the truth of history, all right? And power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell on the earth shall worship him. Hello. See, and that's what he wants, right? You're talking about the Middle East, right? They're trying to bomb their neighbors, right, for decades into submission. Okay? When the neighbors, and some people have been bought, financially, bribery, like Jordan, like Egypt, like Qatar, okay, and a bunch of others, okay? But outside of that, right, because you can't buy everybody, okay? You certainly can't buy Hezbollah off. They were just given a bribe, which they refuse. You're not going to buy Yemen off, okay? You're not going to buy Hamas off, and you're certainly not going to buy Iran off. Okay? So you have to understand, people, regardless of what Scott Ritter, says that he's trying to save a nation from being destroyed, speaking about Iran, he can't save anybody, including himself. Okay? And these people, when they speak circular. They don't speak, through a spiritual mind. Okay? They don't have the eyes, all right, or the heart. Okay? They don't have that spiritual discernment. All right? First of all, because they're not Israelites, and they were never called in to the council. All right? So again, all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life. All right? You see that? You understand? Okay, and that's what they want. They want to be worshipped. They want you to bow down. All right? Anyway, we'll end this here. We'll be right back with parts 3 and 4. Shalom.